But soft, what light from yonder window breaks? It is the east, and fair Juliet is the sun. Oh, arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is pale and sick with grief that thou her maid art far more fair than she. William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, freshman drama class, all-girls school. Somebody had to play Romeo. And on that note, let's look at today's topic, which is the value and benefits of arts and education and the active learning that those subjects engender. In the time allotted, I cannot cover all of the arts or all the benefits afforded by the arts. They are immeasurable. But we'll take a look at how drama improves problem-solving abilities and cognitive skills. Art, which through improvements of spatial understanding and schematic ability enhances math skills, and music, which helps improve overall test scores and fosters teamwork. Let's look at the first point of our triumvirate, which is drama. Drama helps students learn in an engaging and more active manner, which means that they are responsible for their learning. In the article Drama: An Authentic Assessment in a Social Studies Classroom, the author Ronald V. Morris examines the combination of drama and social studies in the classroom. He found that when students were expected to develop and deliver a dramatic skit about the unit assigned, their knowledge of the subject showed a greater depth and breadth than students who had been taught the same information in a more traditional manner. In other words, when the teacher stood up at the front of the class, gave them direct instruction, they took notes. The kids that had to develop a skit on it knew a lot more about it. Furthermore, the students using drama in the class improve their problem solving, because in the same study, Morris explains how the students research and develop their characters, and during their presentations had to defend their characters' choices or convince other characters why their plan was better. Drama also increases metacognitive skills. Introducing students to Romeo and Juliet or Macbeth helps them discover the meaning of words, and sometimes the second and third meaning of words, along with the meanings of the darker subtext of the story, what they mean and the correlations to the students' lives. So drama gives us better depth and understanding of material, increased problem solving, and metacognitive skills. So let's look at our next point, which is art. Art or Drawing 101. Spatial understanding, what is that? Well, it's the ability to understand where things are in space. Now, you know, when you were little or when your kids were little, when they drew stuff, most of their stuff looked just like this. All the things were floating in space. After a while, they got a little better, and you can see the arrow right here. They have anchored their stuff to a foreground. It's not perfect, but it's better. The next point in the development is that the students have now put in a foreground and a background. So they've anchored them there. There's lines there. It's not a really good picture, but it's moving along. And over here, we have an integrated biaxial. And you can see the student has put a foreground, middle ground, and background, and they haven't had to anchor anything. And studies have shown that when students are able to do this, they are able to use their math skills in a more effective manner. In the journal article, The Relationships of Drawing and Mathematical Problem Solving, Draw for Math Tasks by Kella Edens and Ellen Potter, there is a direct correlation between kids' spatial understanding, in other words, that they know how to put middle ground, foreground, background in, and their success or failure at math. So if you have a second grader and they're still drawing the little people floating up in the air, they're probably having trouble with their math too. Also in this study is the correlation between a student's ability to draw a schematic in order to answer a math problem. And when we say this, we're talking about word problems. So right here, there are two students drawing. We have student A and student B. And they were told that they had a 15-foot pole, and the lake water was 12 feet high, and the pole was buried in the lake about a foot in. So they were trying to figure out how much of the pole was above water. And you can see that this student here buried his pole right there, and then he drew in, it was 12 feet underwater right there, and then he had the part that was sticking up out of the water. And he successfully solved this problem. Well, and then you look at this student over here, and this student was not able to draw out the schematic of the drawing. As you can see, his poles are just sort of floating in the water. They're not buried. They don't tell you how much is underwater and above water. In fact, it looks like on this pole that there are equal amounts. He's also put in little sunny skies and a butterfly, perhaps thinking that, you know, the beauty of the picture will distract the teacher from marking it wrong. But that shows that there is a problem with his math skills. The students who were able to draw proportional drawings were able to use them to solve the math problems. These two abilities in math are a small price to pay for art classes. Okay, so let's review. Drama gives students better knowledge of our material, better problem solving, and better metacognitive skill. And art increases their success in math. This brings us to the third point of our arts triangle, which is music. Besides the sheer joy of just being able to make music, according to the article Teamwork in the Music Room by Ellen Chrissus, music improves test scores. She states that in comparison with students in other classes, McCarthy observes that students in athletics and in music were significantly higher on achievement tests, have significantly higher GPAs, and have significantly lower absenteeism. And as any teacher knows, one of the biggest problems with getting your students to learn is if they're absent, you can't teach them. So having music makes them want to be in the classroom, even if it's just for the music. Also, according to the report, a second benefit of music is that students that perform in choirs, ensembles, or orchestras learn to work as a team, or as Ms. Christus states, to produce a project where synergy is one of the goals and where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. In other words, they learn to work as a team, which is an important life lesson in itself. And there you have it, just a few benefits of arts in schools. And I think that perhaps one of the main benefits of the arts in schools is that in order to practice the arts, you have to be an active learner. You can't stand by passively. And once a student learns to be an active learner in one subject, they'll want to be an active learner in another subject because they'll see how well it helps them in their classes. So just to reiterate the points we have covered, they are drama, which helps with metacognition and a deeper knowledge of the subject matter, art, which helps with math skills, and music, which helps improve test scores and fosters teamwork. Arts and education gives the students the ability to think for themselves. It lets them become active learners without really even trying. And isn't that what school is all about?